Good evening, lovely spirits. Peace and wisdom. It's the wise servant here, Mr. Solace. Pasun Paset. Today I want to do this video for you guys in peaceful, humble spirits. I'm mentally preparing myself for my oath that I'm about to take to the life. So I'm going to be transitioning over spiritually. And it's a deep thing. It's like going from a child to an adult. You know, you transition from one stage in life and you mature. So I'm about to go through this transition in my life. I'm going to take my oath, seal the deal, and just become one with my purpose. And we all have a purpose. And people have to just find their purpose, commit to it, become one with it, and live their life in that truth. So it's a deep thing. I'm mentally preparing for that. And it's just time that I put away with all the ego and just the different aspects that I use to reach you guys and teach you guys. I just have to put away with, you know, many of the different ways of myself. And just be, you know, more pure. So it's a deep thing. That's what the change of name is for, Pasun Paset. So it's a deep thing. It's a lot that goes with it. I'm going to, I'll go more in depth at the end of the video as far as my oath goes. But in any event, things will be changing as far as my manner goes. And this is just for self. This has nothing to do with you guys or any of that. It's just my journey. And you have yours. And, you know, it's a beautiful thing. Like I say, we are all books in the life. And you pretty much begin to write your own story at some point if you choose to. Or you can let the other living things in the life control your story. But in any event, I want to go on ahead and get into this video in peaceful, humble spirits. Now, I see a lot of people in today's times debating over diet. And I just want to discuss this with you guys in peaceful, humble spirits, not judging either side of the diet. But I just want to speak to both sides of the diet as one with you guys, both sides. Because we all spirits in the life, and we sometimes have our causes, and the effects of our separate causes lead to, basically our causes are different, but they lead to the same effect. So it's just a deep thing. I see many of us debating over diet, and I just want to say this. To debate over diet is to have a discussion about what life is best to kill. And it's a deep thing you have to grasp. You have to let death keep track of death and know that you're living. And you have to keep track of the life. Men debating over diet. All we eat is life. Life sustains life. This is why the food you eat is living life, lest it would do nothing for you. So you have to grasp. It's deeper than meat being animals. But fruit, vegetation, they are living life as well, living in their way. And it's a deep thing. We don't recognize the fruit, vegetation, trees, things like this as living life, being as though that those living beings in the life, they just give of themselves. They don't take anything. And it's a deep thing. We don't recognize it as life. But for men to debate over diet is truly to debate over what is best to kill. And you don't want to get lost in killing, because then you get to that point where you're debating over it, subconsciously not even realizing it. You have to look at life simple. All things are one thing. Death has its army. Life has its army. And it's a matter of give and take. See, death takes, life gives. You have to know this so that you know which pile you belong to. Are you a taker? Are you a giver? Because life gives. We know this. This is how you're in existence right now as an individual. Because something gave of itself. It's a deep thing. You can go to your father giving up his sperm, or the mother giving you up at birth, or you can go even deeper than that. But in any event, life gives. Trees, vegetation, fruit, vegetable, these things come from the earth, which is life. And you see how it just gives. So life gives. We know what death does. It takes. Death gave you nothing, but it will come to collect you. Death takes. Life gives. And all things begin to blossom into whichever pile they choose to. But it's truly a deep thing. We have to begin to stop judging and just get more of an understanding. See, one man overindulges in food. Another man underindulges. Now, the man that overindulges, he becomes obese. The man that underindulges, he becomes anorexic. And they both become an example to one another of what having no balance is. They're both one and the same, the obese man and the anorexic. They view themselves as different, but they're truly the same, meaning they're both the extremes. They're both the tip of the scale. There's no balance. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. You want to flirt with your desires, but you don't want to overindulge, lest you'll become fat off whatever your desires may be. So it's a deep thing I want you guys to grasp. It's all about taking account of the amount of life you're taking, because living life is taking life. So quantity, the amount of life you indulge in. When I say indulge, I mean take. Because all you indulge in, something is being taken on the other end of the stick. So when you eat, you receive, but another thing lost its life for your indulgence. When you wear your clothes, a life was taken, whether it be the cotton plants, hemp, silk, whatever. A life was taken. The hide of an animal, leather, suede, whatever you may wear. You have to understand, when you're indulging, this is life that you're taking. So you want to keep account of that, because we're all responsible for that. We tend to get lost into religion and other men's beliefs, but the main thing you want to just know for self is this. You'll be held accountable for all the life you indulged in, meaning took. You'll be held accountable for how much you took. And you'll be held accountable for if you took so much that you don't even realize what is life and what you're taking of when you're indulging. So it's a deep, deep thing. And I just want to reach you guys There's no rush. Everyone will grasp in their time when they choose. But we have to stop debating and arguing. We have to understand debating leads nowhere. What's important is for each debater to understand the other debater. This is the greater glory. For one man to win a debate over another man is good for that man. But if both men can get the other to grasp why they think, how they think, forget right or wrong. We get lost in that. Win and lose, right and wrong. But forget those things because we're all in life. So it's a matter of understanding. A man may be wrong, but if you can understand why he thinks wrong, then it may help you to better reach him. Or it may just help you to better receive him. It's not about everyone agreeing, but it's a matter about everyone agreeing that everyone must be respected and everyone must reach to try and understand the next individual. I say that because y'all know how I feel about trees. And people do not truly acknowledge that trees are living. And this is why I say we have to begin to just understand one another. It's not about whose way of life is right or whose way of life is wrong at this point, but it's all a matter of understanding why one lives wrong or why one lives right. Not so that you can judge the person or give them a perspective to live by, but just so that you can receive a person better. So to understand why white people are how they are can help a man to better receive the events that happened in slavery in knowing why a certain race may have been lost in their thoughts. Meaning, when I say lost, I mean in a low state. In understanding why white people may have been lost at that time can help black people to receive and accept what happened, moving forward in strength and knowing what one must do so that these things do not happen again. And it's not a matter of fighting. If one man has an evil spirit or a violent spirit, you cannot teach him anything through violence. The only way you can truly teach him is through the opposite. This is what I mean. If you're non-violent, that means you cannot even defend yourself. You have to stand firm on whatever side you're on. You can't say I'm non-violent, but if someone attacks me, I'll defend. In you defending, you're being violent. So you have to truly grasp. We have to grasp things in a whole, completely. We grasp things somewhat. And this is okay. I mean, you grasp a thing somewhat, and you build on that somewhat. But somewhat is good because it's a start. So I don't want anyone to get lost and feel like, oh, he's judging. It's not a matter of judging, but it's just a matter of making one aware that you can always better go more into a thing. So whether it may be good or bad. So it's a deep thing, but it's not a matter of judging. You want to just try to be one with the life as much as you can. And just acknowledge things and get an understanding of things, therefore you can receive things better. It's all a matter of self-peace. People run around angry spirits because of a lack of understanding. Many people view life as not fair. I'm poor. You got people born rich, and that ain't fair. And life is fair. Everything balances out. It's just a matter of we view rich people as having a different life. We forget that they're in the same life. And they have to go through the same things as others. It doesn't matter if they're greedy or not. And I say greedy because if a man is rich, he has more than he needs. If he has more than he needs, and you have poor people, then it's common sense. But rich men, poor men, they go through the same things because they live in the same existence. They have the same life. And rich or poor doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you sleep in a mansion or if you sleep in one room. If all you own is a one-room shack, your life is no different than a man that owns a mansion, because he's only one person and he can only be in one room at a time. He can only experience one room at a time. He pretty much just has more rooms than he needs. So it shows the nature of his spirit, because there's people that don't have rooms, yet he has more rooms than he can use at one time. So it's truly a deep thing. We have to just pull more for our morality, as I always say. It's a deep thing. But I want to say this to you guys. There's 123 billion acres of space in this earth. That's land and water. There's 123 billion acres of space. Now, out of that 123 billion acres of space, 37 billion acres are land. Now, an acre is the size of a football field. If you've ever been to a real football game, then you know how big a football field is. This is about the size of an acre. Now, the earth has 37 billion acres of land. There's 7 billion people on earth. So now, if you're pretty good with math, then you know that each person on this earth, meaning men, women, and children, no matter how old they may be, they could be a brand new baby just born. According to that number, there's 5 acres for every person. Even if they're 6 months old, they'd have their own 5 acres of land and the resources that come with it. Now, being as though they're born into life, they're entitled because they're here. Everyone here came the same way. Therefore, they're entitled to their share of the life. Now, the life is deep. Like I said, there's 37 billion acres of land. Some people may want to live on boats at sea. Some men may want to create floating cities. In that case, there's 123 acres of space, and every person could probably have about 10, 20 acres in that sense. But let's just deal with land. Every person in the life could have 5 acres of land to themselves and the resources on it, which is wealth. And it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. We live packed into cities, piled on top of each other, as slaves. For those who own land that they truly don't own, they just claimed it for themselves, and others in the life just went with it. And it's a very deep thing I want y'all to grasp. I really want y'all to think on that. We fight for money and things like this, and money is not wealth. Wealth is resources. Resources come from land. Everyone is supposed to have their own land and the resources on it. to have all the things in life they need, whether it be clothing, food, shelter. Each land has its own unique resources. And then there's resources that all the lands share. Now the unique resources on each land, men can trade amongst themselves. There's no need to sell. The life produces for us all. You trade amongst yourselves. No one starves. Everyone has equal amount. It's a deep thing. The way that we live is the Satan, the flesh. It's a deep thing. The great secret in life is when men find peace and understanding. This is when they'll teach the animals not to eat one another. Right. They'll teach the lion to lay and play with the lamb. Now, I know a lot of y'all think, man, that's impossible. Lions don't lay with lambs. But, grasp, men teach lions to play in the circus. They teach elephants to stand on balls and drive cars. Man has more power than he knows. But man is lost. So man teaches lions how to do tricks in the circus so he can make himself some money. But grasp, when man gets to a peaceful state and has understanding that he controls this realm, this is for him to control in goodness, he'll grasp. And he'll teach the lion not to eat the gazelle, to play with it, to help it. He will teach the animals the right way to live because they are capable of being taught. If you're confused of that, you have the zoo and the circus. Men teach animals. Evil things are things to benefit the man, but men don't teach animals things to benefit the animal kingdom. But it's because man is no better than animals at this point in time. So we eat the animals and kill them and hunt them, and we do what we do. Therefore, they do what they do. And it's a deep thing. Man has more power than he knows, and that's the great secret in life. Man's heaven is at his fingertips. It's a deep thing. But man don't grasp. Man could tear up all the cities, all the concrete, and turn all back to beautiful forest and gardens. Now, what is a forest and garden? Well, this is where all the food grows. So now when you're walking down the street, all is a garden in the forest. And there's strawberries and apples and oranges and just all sorts of beautiful, lovely life all around as you walk amongst your city. And you take from the life as you need, giving the seed back to the ground. And there's animals around, and all is in peace. All takes what it needs, nothing more. All helps. All is of service to the living in the life. And man could live this way and have heaven and teach the lion to lay with the lamb and play with it. And truly teach them that. Where they listen, the same way they listen to the man at the circus. But it's a deep thing. Man don't grasp. And that's the great secret from the wise servant, the humbled wise servant, the lowest. I'm the lowest of all of you. So y'all can stand on my wisdom and grasp. It's a deep thing. Now, I want to get into this oath that I'm about to take in the next week or so and transition over and just mature more spiritually. This means no more of a lot of the things I do as far as my manners go. Because physically, as far as my actions go, I don't indulge in anything. So I eat once a day. I don't really indulge in anything in as far as that goes, but I'm going to break everything down so that you guys fully grasp. Now I'm taking this oath to the life, as we all should. But it's not a matter of my oath that you need to take to the life, but one must find his own oath to the life and seal the deal. This is why I'm taking the fast. I'm a fast because an oath has to be binded with an act. So I'm just going to do the fast just to, cleanse myself out. When I say fast, it's not a matter of eating because I don't eat already. So, and it's an interesting thing. I truly eat one time a day, yet you guys watch my videos every day. I'm not getting any skinnier. I'm not sick. So it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. And I eat one time a day. That may be a Guinness World Record. Because I truly eat once a day. One time. Without even thinking about it, I just eat one time a day. And if anything, it's making me wiser. And it's a deep thing. I may need to reach out to the Guinness World Book. Guinness? I forgot the correct title. But I may need to reach out to Guinness. Because that's pretty deep when I truly start to think on it. I just do this. And I do it for my purposes, but I never think of it in that way. Like, that's interesting. Even monks eat more than one time a day. Everybody eats more than once a day. Most people will say that's not healthy. Yet, I eat once a day. It's a deep thing, but I'm about to take this oath and go through my fast. And it's not a matter of just food when I say fast, but it's a matter of like television. But it's weird because everything I'm naming I don't indulge in anyway. So as the fast is not really anything because you can say my life is a fast. Muslims, they fast certain times of the year where they don't eat during the day and they eat at night. And like I said, I only eat one time a day. So I pretty much do what men do when they're fasting. I do that normally. When a man's life when he's fasting is my normal life. And it's just interesting when I truly think about all the things I do not indulge in anymore. I don't indulge in anything. I'm not attached to anything. All this time I've been disattaching myself from all these physical desires we have. But I've never noticed because I've been so indulged into the knowledge. It's like a movie, a very interesting movie that I just can't take my attention away from. Because there's so much to learn that we see all the time, that we know already. We just don't know. And just sucking in the knowledge, and it just kind of distracts me from everything to the point where now not indulging is just common for me. I don't have any desires and urges, and there's nothing I truly want. It's deep. I just have a better understanding of life. But as far as my oath goes, this is how I live. I eat once per day, and I do this because I know all food is life. So I know a man can go 3 weeks before he starves. So I know I can eat one time every 3 weeks. There's no need for me to eat multiple times in a day, especially if I know this is life. And I'll be held accountable for the amount of life I indulge in or take. So I eat once per day. I wake up before the sun, or I wake up with the sun. And I do this because I just have an understanding of life, and I know the life is within the life. I have cells within my body. I have a spirit. This is me. This is the light of self, the warmth, the energy. That thing that is within me, that is me. That is within me with the micro cells, and that is their sun. We have ours. If you grasp what I just said, then you know the sun is the spirit within the macro body. And there's many macro bodies up above living their life in their realm or level of existence. So I wake up with the sun. Plus, I understand the sun gives us all we need as far as energy goes. And all boils down to energy. Food is broken down by oxygen and pretty much transmuted into the energy. So it's broken down into its energy state. And the waste of it is pushed out. This is why you move your bowels. This is why you exhale, to get rid of the carbon dioxide. So I just wake up with the sun. I eat once per day. I never overindulge in anything because this leads to attachment. Now, I have one pleasure that I do overindulge in. Then I have one pleasure that I never ever indulge in. And this is for the purposes of balance. So I'm giving you a rundown of the oath that I live by. And I'm basically about to take a fast to seal the deal of this oath, meaning I'm going to completely commit to every aspect of it. So I'm just basically giving you a rundown of my actual oath that I live by. So I eat once per day. I wake up before the sun or with the sun. I never overindulge in anything because that's how you become attached. I do have one desire or pleasure that I overindulge in. But then I have one pleasure or desire that I never indulge in ever again. And I do that for the purposes of balancing out what I said first. So it's a deep thing. I respect the living. So, this is no fighting, no cursing, no arguing, no yelling, no violence. Just being in a peaceful state and pushing that out. Be kind, be humbled. Be an oppressor of lies. Be an adversary to lies. So when I hear lie, it is not my job to fight the lie or combat the lie, but make sure I push out truth just as much. So if a man says you are to eat vegetation instead of meat, it is my job to push out the truth of that ordeal, that they are both life. And it's a matter of how much you're indulging in either or. Because a man who eats healthy, he dies. Just like the man who doesn't. Now you have to grasp, health is a matter of life and death. So if a man eats healthy, yet he still dies, then is eating healthy a real thing? Or is it a matter of business and religion? Or both? So you have to grasp. Eat what you eat. Do as you do. But keep account. It's a simple thing. Your rules, your life, your death. This is yours. And the leaders that y'all follow, their rules, their life, their death is theirs. Grasp what I just said. Your rules, life, and death is yours. Live it how you choose. But have understanding. Now the leaders in all these religious books and texts and men that y'all follow, their rules and their life and death is theirs. Do not let someone push their beliefs on you. You're your own book. You're your own spirit. You're your own piece of the whole. So it's a deep thing. To be them is to not have a need for you to be in existence. Because you have to have your own experience. You have to be your own book. So that it's like the Bible has 66 books completing a whole. We have to all be our own books in the life in that way. You follow a man and you live how another man believes life is to be lived, then your book is his. Your life is his. You didn't need to be in existence. And it's a very deep thing, but let me go through my oath. I'm sorry. I get touched by the spirit a lot. But as you can tell in my mannerism, I have to stay in calm, humble spirits. I'm not even trying. I'm just, as I said, it's time for me to transition over. I'm maturing in spirit. A lot, like I told you guys, the ego, the cursing you guys out, all of this is just my way that I chose to reach you guys. And my ways is my ways. You don't need to worry about that. But just grasp. That's the main important thing. But me transitioning over and being humble, and I know a lot of y'all are probably like, oh, this is going to be good, because I know he can't be, it's easy. You have complete control over myself. I just do what I do for my own purpose, which I think I explained in many videos. It's just the funny thing. It's funny to me, but it's no longer funny. I don't get anything out of it anymore. So it's like a child becomes an adult and he doesn't get anything out of the childish things he did when he was a child. But all is good in growth. It's no big deal. But in any event, my oath is basically I eat once a day. I wake up with the sun. I never overindulge in anything. I have one pleasure that I do overindulge in. I have one pleasure that I never do ever again. I respect the living. I'm kind. I'm humbled. I am an adversary to lies. I make sure that I am of service to anything in the life that I can be. And all that is received, I must give away at some point in time. Materials included. And it's a deep thing. I'm about to take my fast to basically seal this oath and completely live by every aspect of everything I just said. Now, everything on this list, I already lived that way. There's only 2 things on the list that I haven't completely committed to. So this is pretty much the purpose, me fulfilling and just going more into my purpose. But the 2 I haven't completely committed to is respect and being humbled and kind. And those 2 things I haven't truly committed to. Now, in the physical life, this means outside of online, I'm humbled and kind. So if anyone's seen me in person, then they probably will tell you, well, he's kind of humbled and kind in person. He's always to himself. Pretty much reading or something, or looking at trees or something. But I'm humbled and kind in person, but online and things like this. But it doesn't matter if it's in person or not. Humble and kind is humble and kind. Respecting the living is that. Now, I haven't been fighting or anything like that, but I still curse. And, just aggressive in my manner, in my mannerisms. And these are just things I haven't completely committed to. As far as everything else on the list, waking up with the sun, eating once a day, I do all these things without even thinking about it. So I wake up with the sun, I don't even think about it. There's a woman that that watches my videos, and she spent the day with me not too long ago. And she probably didn't realize it, but if she thinks about it, I truly only ate. I ate one time during our day together, but if you take an account of the amount I ate, I didn't even eat once. And I woke up before the sun. It's a deep thing. I was up before she was. We both woke up together before the sun for a specific reason. Then, after that, I was still up. But this is because I already wake up. So like I said, everything on the list I already do naturally. I don't have to try, set an alarm clock or anything. I can go to sleep at 4 in the morning. I'll wake up when the sun rises. I don't know how that works, but everything is it just happens normally. I don't have to try to eat one day. It's just, I can't eat more than one time a day. So it's just deep. Sometimes I may eat twice a day, but I don't want to be petty, that's why. But the amounts I eat when I eat once a day, it's not what someone would actually call a full meal. So what you would call a full meal, my meal is not that. So you can say I eat a half a meal a day, but that's why I said I don't got time to be petty. So you say I eat once a day. Sometimes I may eat twice, but for the most part, brother eats one meal a day. If I choose to spread it out throughout the day, whatever the case. The whole purpose is for the amount of life that's being indulged in, but I pretty much live by the oath already. It's just those two things, being kind, humble, and not being violent, respecting the life. So I just want to seal the deal on my oath to the life. Go through this little fast, maybe for about a week or two. Maybe a month. I was going to do it for 30 days, but life has no schedule, so I don't want to even think in those type of terms. I let the life guide me, the spirit, the life, one and the same. I'm going to just let it guide me through it until I feel cleansed, which I already pretty much feel like. I don't really need to go through the fasting or anything. I'm already in good. As you've been watching this video, you can see I'm fine. But I just want to make sure I deal with self for just maybe a week or so, just to test myself out, and it's important to me. I want to make sure that I'm kind, when people see me, I want them to think he's very kind and humble, and I remember how he was. And I want people to just see, man, he's so unconfrontational, and he still makes his point around being unconfrontational, almost like a fight. A man's attacking you and you just take it, but you just slip, dip, weave, block, do whatever you have to do to not be hurt, but never striking back. So just to give you a perspective, I have to be in that way when people see me, and it's just a deep thing. It's in this world you can be hurt in this life, living that way, but there's no fears with me. This is why I say it to the public. It doesn't matter. People are going to do what they do regardless. So if people know that I'm going to defend myself, some will still attack me anyway, if they can, if they get an opening. And if I say I'm non-violent and I can't fight back, even if you attack me, I can't fight back. The most I can do is just dip, block, weave, run, whatever the case may be. I've never been good at running, so I guess I'll just flip, dip, block, whatever I could do. But even in that, people will attack. So people will always attack. You just have to know that, and just have no fears in life, and just live, and be the best example you can be. Be the best representative of the life that you can be. And it's a simple thing. I don't say any of these things for you guys to feel like I'm better than y'all, or for you to be like me and say, oh, that's the oath I'm going to take. But you have to understand, that's my way. This oath is mine. And you have to find your own way in your own oath to the life. And the more you understand the life, the more balanced you can become. Therefore, you can take your oath in good spirits, knowing that you're balanced, and it's truly no, because the imbalances lead to the Satan, which is the flesh, and it's a deep, tricky thing. So it's like a lot of things I break down, and y'all say, man, I didn't think of that. He's right. Like to have a debate on diet is to have a debate on what is best to kill. You see how that's perfectly balanced? So it's a deep thing. We have to just grasp. So you just want to pull for truth, which is wisdom. Because this truth is wisdom, and truth is balance. So you just have to grasp. There's many things you can learn, but many things, many wisdoms, knowledges, they can make one unbalanced. So it's a very deep thing. It's like the technologies we have. You have to be a wise person to create these technologies. But these technologies make us handicapped, so I want to say. They groom us into an imbalance. And it's just a very deep thing. You want to just be balanced. This is why I say it's very important that you have understanding before you take an oath to the life. You want to really have that connection with the life. I truly learned from the life, not me looking at life just making up stuff, but I have a connection with the spirit of life. This is why certain things I may say, it sounds a little freaky, like how does he know that? The more you develop and connect with the life, your spirit will align with it, and you just are bestowed with information. I don't know how to explain it, but it's a deep thing, and it's no doubt. Like the things that I speak, it's not a matter of a guess. Like this is a good theory. Nothing I say is a theory, because everything I say, you can trace it back to the root of a physical thing. So when I say the sperm is the spirit, you physically know what sperm is. You may not have a lot of knowledge on it, but there's something that you do know. Sperm is the spirit, the egg is the body. So it's a deep thing. It's like no one can deny that there's a sperm cell that got an egg cell, or they wouldn't be here. So this is what I mean by I don't doubt my wisdom, because for a person to deny there's a sperm cell that got an egg is to deny that they're a person. So you have to grasp, the spirit is within the body. You are the sperm cell in the egg. So one is one, the other's the other. So my wisdom is truly undebatable. It's just a matter of, I don't know. But it's like I said, when you're aligned with the life, you're just bestowed with a certain understanding that you know is right. And you know, the more you groom yourself and become one with the life, then you go through little things. You know, go through your conscious baptism, begin to take notice of your spiritual diet and what your spirit is feeding on before you get so lost into indulging into what your body needs. You want to wake up in the morning and make sure your spirit is feeding on good emotions. This is energies. You want to make sure your spirit is always feeding on good emotions, positivity, good feelings, because it's your spirit, for crying sakes. So it's a deep thing, but you go through those things, and then I guess at some point when you become truly connected with the life, how I am, then you just go through your oath and, write down things that you're just not going to go against, and you live that. Now, I know many people, they do not have that connection with the light as I do. So as for now, you can use my oath as yours until you get a connection with the light. But let the goal be, let me be an example. Don't be me. You have to be your own book. This is why I like to break up all the leaders and teachers that we have in today's times, because they're pushing their views on people. And it's not about pushing your views on people, but it's about pushing wisdom on people so that they can view things for themselves in balance, in peace, in understanding. So it's a deep thing, but I don't want to offend anyone. As I said, I'm about to go through my transition, so as far as it goes with the other teachers, I probably won't be mentioning them anymore in any negative light, which I never mentioned any of the teachers in any negative light. I just put light on what is wrong. But, in a harsh manner. But I have to be gentle now. So all I do will always be balanced, in humble spirits, kind. If you're rude and obnoxious and just aggressive, there's a good chance I may just not deal with you, because I have to stay true to my oath. And it's just a deep thing. It's about being great. Not greater than others, but being great. It's a deep thing. Deep thing. It's not about me having a bunch of followers. When I say followers, I mean like subscribers, people that watch me and just follow my journey and use it as an example or motivation or an inspiration to themselves. So this is what I mean by following, but it's not about me having a large following. But it's about me reaching the following that I have. That's most important to me. A man can have 1 million people following him, but only about 1,000 of them truly lock in on what he says. So it's a deep thing. Out of the 8,000 subscribers or followers that I have on YouTube and the thousands that I have on Facebook, my main thing is to reach you guys. It's not about collecting more souls, but reach the ones you got. If I can't reach the little that I have now to where they're raising in their conscience, and a lot of the people that follow me, they are. But if I can't reach, what I'm saying, if you're a teacher, use this for yourself. If you can't reach the little that you have, there's no need for you to have more. You have what is enough for you to handle, so to say. So the amount of subscribers and people I have, this is good for me. And all I need to focus on is reaching them. Simple as that. More souls come, the load gets bigger, but it's a matter of reaching. It's not a matter of stacking up souls for me. It's a matter of reaching people so they can go to the light. So it really doesn't matter to me how many followers I have, because it's all work for me. It's a deep thing. This is why I block people and send them on their way, things like this, and people say, man, you interfering with your business. But me teaching is not business. This is life. So you have to grasp. Anything I acquire, I have to give away. I have to do something with it for the life. So if I acquire a great deal of money, I have to use it for the life. Because I don't need anything. So what am I holding it for? It's a deep thing. It's just a deep thing. And I live by that because there's nothing that I desire to have. I want land for people. Nothing one man can do with a bunch of land, so I don't really care about that. I want land to turn it into a school to teach people the sciences that you kids damn near barely go to school for now. You can't even find them in school. Metal smelting and understanding the different properties and chemical reactions of the different metals that we have, like iron, nickel, copper, gold, cesium. Like cesium. A lot of people never even heard of that. They're like, what is that? So there's many metals that we have on this earth, and most people only know about 5 to 10 of them. But there's so many of them, and they react chemically with one another as well as different things in the life. Some of them can be used medicinally. So they're like plants. They all have their different properties and purpose. But you can't really learn this anywhere. You have to find some secret science, occult, magic school just to learn simple things, and it's been like this for a while. Where can you truly go to school to learn how to make fabrics from the resources? This is what I mean. So I just want to get land for that purpose, to teach people things like this, and it's just a deep thing. I want to I put up on Facebook if anyone wants to chip in with me in the next month or so and get some land and start to build up a community. So these are just little things I want to do for the life, for the people, not for me. Build up a community and build up another. We chip in, we all chip in, get a community, maybe 5, 10 acres. Make it pretty, let that be our work. Building that up, teaching the people there to live in harmony, and I go all over the world doing this. One community at a time. But things got to start somewhere, so it's just a matter of that. I'm not a rich man, I don't have a large following, I don't have a lot of money and all of these things. So whatever little bit I do have, I share it. So things don't accumulate that much. I do have a little accumulation, but like I said, I have to do things with it for the life. So that's just the only things I think of, man. What can I do to change the balance of things? And I know it starts with the land. That's why they took the land. So when I say they, I mean, you know, the Europeans and the many different nationalities of people that came to the Americas back in those times, because it wasn't just Europeans, but it starts with the land. And like I said, there's 123 billion acres of space. 37 billion of it is land. So there's no need for us to be struggling and starving, and I just don't understand. Being as though I was born poor, I just can't understand. Makes me look at rich people a certain way. But it's a deep thing. You can't judge. Man gets rich and does the same thing rich men do. So it's a deep thing. But I know that would never happen to me because there's nothing I desire except for the things that I just said. And those things are great. It's just a matter of perspective. Men want cars, houses, and many chicks. I want to be one with the life. When you think of the life, you think, oh, man, he did some great things, man. He changed the whole course of life. I'm starting now nitpicking with the brains. I'm getting people thinking different. I see many people speaking my words in their own way. They don't even know that what they're saying they got from me. They done heard it from another brother, and by the time it got to them, it wasn't my exact wording, but it's the exact same thing I said. And we all know the way I speak I say things that's like, damn, I didn't think of that. That's so simple. Like when Dr. Umar Johnson say, go back to Africa, and I say, white people, the first people that tell us that. Go back to Africa. That's a trick. So just little things like that, I see things float around, and I'm like, man, those are my words. So I just start with the brain. I'm changing the course of the way people think. Next is the actions. It's a deep thing, but I'm working. I'm working on the things y'all don't consider work. Y'all consider work a man building himself up. I consider work how many people I can build up. That's my work. How many people can I make as wise as myself? This is why I don't hold the knowledge back. It's all who can grasp first. Simple. Make as many people as I can make as wise as I am. Get as many people on a page to understand that the life produces enough for us all, land included. And we're being robbed of our personal individual wealth. Doesn't matter if you're 6 months old. There's 5 acres for you with trees, animals, vegetation, everything you need. So it's just a deep thing, but it's the wise servant here, Mr. Solace, Percent. Peace and wisdom, and just stay in good, humble spirit. I know I will. And I'm going to just continue to mentally prepare for my transition that's coming up soon. And just keep everything on an even, humble, peaceful, positive note. Because that's most important. It's not about debating and being lost track of the word. But it's not about being confrontational. It's just about people grasping. Simple as that. Even if a man acts like he doesn't grasp, I know you all grasp. It's a deep thing. It's the wise servant. Peace and wisdom.